Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Those Guys on the Radio. That's what we do here, right? It's not Those Guys Play, right? It's Those Guys on the Radio. We have so many things going on. I don't even know anymore. I'm your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
All right, and what are we doing today, Tristan Walter? For Doctor Who Wednesday, what are we doing today, Tristan?
Well, I mean, I feel like I don't have to say it now, Matt. I mean, I could just get in the TARDIS and leave now. You could just do the whole thing by yourself, you know? You're so important. Oh, but, well, I'd be taking your TARDIS away, because if you're the host, you must be the Doctor, and I must be the companion. But guess what? I'm stealing your TARDIS. So you know what? You can have a Merry Christmas all by yourself then.
I'm going to go hang out with British Santa.
Okay.
So, you know what? You can go.
Well, you have fun with that then.
So, here's something really funny, right? So here we are, right, doing the 2015 Christmas special, Last Christmas. And before I talk about how I feel about Last Christmas, and you do, of course, too, because that's what we do here, I just want to mention one little small thing that I notice throughout a lot of Doctor Who, and it kind of is sad sometimes. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, I think it's really sad. So you and I were talking about Sandwell and Me for TV Tuesday just yesterday, right? And what's very interesting is that, and it happens in Japanese stuff too, when Japanese do adaptations of their own work, right, they'll, or in Sandwell and Me, it was a brand new series, they had one guy who seemed to be, what would be an American. And your thought is, okay, let's have the contrast be that he would be someone who looks more white and isn't Asian. At the very least, you would think, anyway. And they didn't do that. He was kept as a Japanese man. Why do I reference this? Because you look at what, Full Metal Alchemist or Attack on Titan live action, and you think, okay, they're going to be white people, like American people, or at least, white Japanese people, or just foreigners, someone from Europe or wherever. And then they end up being Japanese, and you're like, oh, okay, right, because you're like, that's the local talent, right? They are Japanese. But when it comes to the UK, I think it was just so weird that they went for British no matter what, where it's like, oh, now granted, obviously you want Santa for the kids, you're making this for a British audience, Santa's not going to be American. That would be really bad. Like, I get that. So I'm not saying why was Santa British. Even the elves, I'm like, yeah, no, we'll make the elves British. But the people that were in the, in the space station, quote unquote, when it was like, oh, you guys might not even all be from Europe. It's like, no, they're gonna fucking be from Europe. Like, you guys could be from any time, anywhere. No, they're fucking not, Doctor. They're all from fucking Europe.
Because
like, if there was one guy that was just like, really, are you
in London, Matt?
Well, that's obvious. But the idea that, I'll concede to that point, it's just the idea that, like, you can be from anywhere, and, and it's just literally maybe one guy was like, are you sure about that, Doctor? Like, he'd be like, yeah, okay, that guy's not with the rest of them. But, like, it was just really weird where everyone's just like,
did you
really,
learn nothing from Wilford? It's Christmas Day. Where is everybody? Oh, it's Christmas in London. Everyone's in their houses shaking and scared. It's them aliens again.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Of course they're not in the streets.
Yes. But again, it's cool they're not in the streets. I don't know. For some, like, when...
I don't want you in my supernatural alien dreams.
Yeah. Now I get to the more review aspect of it. I think I like this. I don't want to use the word love. I like this just as much as I despise it.
That sounds about right.
Do you see
that
where?
That sounds like.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
too.
I've heard other opinions of it, so I did enjoy this episode.
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's shit because there's some great things there, and honestly, I think that it's really nice that they tried to tie things up with the Doctor and Clara, because even though I thought it would be more real if they just left it that way and then maybe revisited it later, I think it was nice that they tried to tie everything together and make it nice. My problem is, and we'll get into it more when we get to the end of the episode. No, we're not talking about everything in order, but like I don't know if I want to like just jump immediately to the end. But what I want to say is this about the end. I think it is a huge problem to just be like, oh, so we tied everything together, isn't that so sweet? Yes, great. Now let's continue this. It's just like, no, you guys proved that this wasn't good. Or that maybe she needs some, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, not that it was, like, toxic or anything, but I just don't feel, I don't know, I don't feel right about it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's life, Matt.
Yeah, right. No, all jokes aside, though, right? Yeah, right. All jokes aside, the way I look at it is this, right? If they showed, and I know it'd be longer on the actress, and you'd have to pay someone else too, so it'd be really, and people would be like, wait, but which one's the actual companion? You know, but here's my thing, right? If you had actually showed progression of time in the show by having another companion and the doctor visiting Clara once in a while with the new companion, and then when the companion left, then he cleared things up with Clara, and then they started traveling again. I think that would be better because here's the thing, right? I can't, like a show can't tell me, hey, there's been a progression in time. I need to see it. It is a television show.
I feel like that would have been
I can't just
kind of a cop-out for a new companion to come in and
be
tied to Clara in that way.
No, but it wouldn't be, but here's the thing, though. He wouldn't be around her often. So let's say in 12 episodes, he would see her twice.
Yeah.
He would be tied into her, but not as much as you would think. Like Pink, like you'd have the Danny Pink story with the two of them when she was the companion, and now we barely get to see Pink, but when we do, he sadly dies and gives his life away, and then there's the misconception, and then Doctor leaves. Or at the very least, have the Doctor companion list for like a few episodes, and then have him come back. The problem is that they tried, like this show has been trying for the longest time under Moffat to, and maybe, and I'm not trying to be against him because, I do like a decent amount of his work that he's done with the show, but I don't think Davies did this. I don't think anyway. For the longest time, Moffat has tried to tell you straight out, hey, time has gone by.
Right.
And that's it. But I need to see time go by. And I know that there's constraints. I know that I'm sure the BBC might say no, but needs to consistently have a companion. How is the doctor, how can he be the Doctor without a companion for a season or for a series? But I just can't take the idea that, hey, did you know that time has gone by? So much time since the last episode. I haven't seen Clara for like 6 months. Okay, but we just saw her last week. I'm not going to take this, the Doctor hasn't been around. Like, yes, as part of their story, the Doctor leaves me, and then he's actually not around for 6 months. So, for all I know, he had another companion. Yes, but I didn't see any of that. So, that's not good. Because then they try to come in here with like, oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've seen you, Clara. And it's just like, not for us, though. Even if you're not marathoning it, still, from one season to another, it was like 3-4 months? I haven't seen Clara for 4 months. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Doctor's I haven't seen her for God knows how long.
Maybe my suspension of disbelief is just stronger, but, like, seeing Clara being, like, the whole idea of it being dreams within dreams and just having her be, like, aged up a lot, I was like, oh, crap. It's like,
no,
I believe again, Doctor.
That he had waited.
You fucked up again.
I believe that he accidentally waited that long, and then we were going to have if we had a hearty discussion with her being that age, it would have been sad, but again, the idea of that's life, right? There's some people that even though you want to see, you never get to talk to, you're always busy. Then all of a sudden you catch up with them again. You're like, oh my God, how long has it been? That happened to me the other day. A friend of mine, I realized we met 5 years ago, and I haven't talked to her, I haven't really seen her in nearly 2 years. And I sat back and I'm like, oh my God, this is life, right? So even though it's not 60, right, and I'm not an immortal time lord as far as everyone knows, it's still I'm sorry, bow tie over here. Sorry, I'm dropping my bow tie. Anyway, yeah, it's just
fucking 11.
I feel like, even though I didn't hear what you said and I care, but still, I'm gonna skip it. So maybe all of you heard what he said. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know, man. Like it to me, that would have been an interesting take. But then it was just, that felt more of a cop-out. I know you mentioned a cop-out earlier. That was where it's just like, actually, just kidding, Santa Claus, it's a dream. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then that cop-out leading to, granted, the way okay, here's the thing, right? The way they wrote this episode, it makes sense. I'm not saying that, like, the doctor and Clara wouldn't react that way when they're put into that situation. It's just me saying, I wish they weren't put into that situation.
Yeah,
because,
and I definitely understand that, like, you and I've talked to other people about the episode, too. Like, they held the opinion. It's like, it was too many dreams within a dream. It's like, you gotta, like, usually the magic number is 3, but we went for way more than 3, and it's kind of like, all right, guys, you're hitting the twist button a little too many times in one episode, like.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. And here's the funny thing too, right? I feel like Moffat. I don't know, and maybe I'm just a dick here, because I saw when he did the Red Nose Day special. I think it was the Red Nose Day special when he did a parody of Doctor Who.
Oh, geez.
And I suggest that no one sees this parody, because if you see this parody, you'll realize that everything Moffat writes makes sense, and now everything you see him write, you might have not liked it before, but now you kind of chuckle at it, like it's a parody of Doctor Who in a way.
Right.
The reason why I say that is because the way he does his switch of, like, you know, like you said, the twist rather of, like, oh, you were dreaming, oh, I was dreaming, oh, dream, or even like when the Doctor and River were one-upping each other when River was quote unquote just made, like she just regenerated into River, right? The River that we know anyway, Alex Kingston.
Yeah.
When she, when that happened, that was very much like when the Doctor and the Master in this parody went at it, where it was literally just like, oh, I'm going to press this button and you will die, and then like the wall kind of like flips around because it's a fake wall, and then there's a sofa, and it's like, what? And he goes, actually, you thought that you were going to kill me because you went into the past before we even came here to have dinner with the architect, but actually, you went 1,000 years, I went 2,000 years into the past, and I bribed the architect to put a nice sofa here. Oh, well, Doctor, you might think that, but presses another button. You are thinking that there's a trap door because you went 3,000 years into the past and bribed the architect. But actually, I went 4,000 years into the past and bribed him.
And bribed the architect.
Yeah.
See,
and
it's
so
funny.
Like, that was the.
I feel like plenty of other series do that though. So it's not like it's just Doctor Who being like, oh, playing the one-up game. It's like I've seen plenty of series do the one-up game. So.
A lot of anime do the one-up game, to be very fair. That's something that you and I really enjoy. But like, here's the thing though. I'm not gonna lie. Something like Death Note doing the one-up game in the way that they even do it, it does become funny. But also another thing too is that we see Death Note, we see it for either the 12 volumes or the 37 episodes, and then it's gone. Doctor Who under Moffat, granted, it has gone over 37 episodes, yes. But, like, after a while, like, it keeps on going yearly. So you keep on getting these one-ups, and after a while, they do seem a little bit comical. And then here, when it happens, it just becomes, like you said, too many dreams within the dreams. Because at first, I was into it. I was like, oh, wow, they were in the infirmary. And then they're just like, they're still doing the It's a Long Story thing. And it's like, oh, no, that's a dream, too. And then they wake up from that. And I'm like, okay, the episode's over now. Like, honestly, the episode should have been over with Santa on the sleigh. As much as the other things were nice, the episode should have been over, and then they should have never had her come back on, and they should have released those last, like, a chunk of what they had done there. Maybe like 5 minutes of it as like a web special. not a web special, but like as one of those like YouTube, 5-minute episodes, like they did with the like with Amy and Rory, leading into the next season, or just in general, like they did with Amy and Rory. And you just release it as a 5-minute thing where they talk, and you kind of sit back and you're like, okay, so things have been left on good terms, but other than that, we're good, we're done. I don't know.
Right.
I would prefer that rather than them tacking on that extra 10 minutes that to me felt completely unneeded, and not even unneeded because it led to Clara coming back, just unneeded because, I don't know, cinematically, like it just, and I'm not saying that I'm like this amazing writer and I'm just like, well, just looking at it from but I'm being serious here though. It just felt like the big finale was them being on the sleigh.
Right.
And then, yeah. But anyway, so like, let's count all the dreams, right? We had
right.
when they were in the infirmary and then they got hit. That's one dream.
Yeah.
Then the actual space station they were in, that was another dream. Then when the doctor woke up, he was like, oh no, Clara is not awake. Wakes up and she's old. That whole thing was the third dream. Then they wake up and she's not old. So it was 3, but it's still too much.
Right.
Like, again,
Matt,
it becomes a parody in a way. What?
But even the doctor says, I get a second chance, and I never get second chances. Ha ha, ha, ha. His individual lives, yes, never get second chances, but he himself as an entity gets plenty of chances. But the fact that there's a tangerine sitting on the windowsill, he doesn't even know who to thank. It's like, was Santa really there all along? Was Santa the dream,
really
or was
funny?
he real?
It's funny. There's 2 ways you can take it, right? Oh, was Santa there all along? Or crying, oh my God, the doctor's still in a dream and he's dying. Like, did they not understand that kids could take it that way? The whole point of the episode was, oh man, you never know if you're still in a dream or not. You're slowly dying.
And Santa's like, I'm here. Of course it's a fucking dream. It's like, but Santa. Don't say that.
But here's the thing. I don't like how, okay, in my opinion, and this isn't after watching it twice, I'm pretty sure that the first time when the way they filmed the scene, the way, like, the fact that the alien jumping on the doctor wasn't that quick of a cut.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least jumping on all of them. Wasn't that quick of a cut. When they filmed Santa busting in, it feels like a dream. Now, people might go, but that's what they were going with. But it wasn't foreshadowing. It was hitting you on the head with a 50-ton hammer. So when Santa was like, of course it's a dream, you're kind of like, yeah, I knew that. Was I not supposed to? And I don't even want to sit there and be like, well, Matt, kids wouldn't get it. No, I think kids are clever. I feel like they wouldn't sit there and just like, I'm not saying that all of them are, and I'm not saying that, it's bad if they're not clever enough to pick it up, but I don't think that it was, like, okay, there's some things some twists, even in Doctor Who, that I'll be like, wow, did not see that coming, that's pretty crazy. And, and yes, maybe rewatching, you're like, oh, I can see, all right, I get it. But, like, even like this, like the whole, like, Cybermen being involved, right, in the last 2-parter we did on the show, on Doctor Who Wednesdays, I think that was a good twist. I think there were little, small things that, you could put together, but I didn't see them coming, right? And maybe that's on me. But I feel like, having a door look like a Cyberman is a lot different than goddamn fucking Santa Claus busting in. Now, here's the thing, too, right? I understand people saying, but Matt, it's Doctor Who. That's why on the roof I believed Santa existed.
Right.
Even though I was a little confused about what the doctor was saying to her.
Are you saying that you don't believe in Santa?
No. I mean, look at the elves, right? They brought, look, all right, I'm a speech and debate coach, okay? So the elves, right, I saw their arguments, and I was like, well, I think the elves win the round. It was a little awkward because Clara was going Maverick. She didn't have a debate partner until the doctor came in, and you're not really allowed to have, like, a debate partner to show up mid-round. But if I had to look at that debate completely objectively as a speech and debate coach, and just this past weekend, I actually judged for states for NSDA State. I have to say I would side with the elves. Although I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm racist, aren't I? I've been calling them elves. I'm sorry. I apologize. But no, I would definitely side with Santa's workers there because they were right. Like what? Like, oh, your parents just for one day a year just get you gifts because they love you? Like, I'm not trying to say that parents don't love their kids, but it's completely irrational to think about that, right? Like, think of it that way.
Well, I love the fact
so when you put
that even the doctor goes to Clara. It's like, it's like, your life may depend on this very question. Do you really believe in Santa Claus? And Clara's like, well, seeing as how I haven't seen you in God knows how long, and now you magically appear here and say, we're basically going on another adventure after my life has kind of gone to shit. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to believe that Santa exists just for this one little itty-bitty second.
Okay, I like that because I like that. No, I like that. That's what you got out of it. Because for me, I was just confused, and it seemed a bit too cheesy, but in a weird way because it just didn't register for me. Both times seeing it, it didn't register because she was like, in this moment, yes, I do believe in Santa Claus. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of fucking question is that? Like, imagine if you were like, Matt, do you believe in ghosts? And I was just like, in this moment, I do believe in ghosts.
As a ghost is possessing my body?
What the fuck are you saying there?
As I play Halloween in July? Yes. Yes, I believe they
right?
exist.
Which is an event that we have going on our YouTube channel. Obviously, this episode isn't coming out in July, but we will be doing Halloween in July again this year. So yay! But still, I don't know. To me, it just didn't feel right. So that was weird to me. But by the way,
funny.
Santa being on the roof, right? It made sense. Like, I'm not going to say they didn't plant the seeds for there being 3 dreams, technically.
Right.
Or at least 2, or at least Santa being a dream entity, because it was like, wait, but why was he on my roof as well after that and everything? And it's like, oh, okay. But I think the problem is her waking up, old, and then immediately, not like retconning it, because, again, it didn't exist because it was a dream. But I don't know, it just felt too much for me. Like, I really think they needed to slow it down, and they really needed to, like, cut down the episode a little bit. And I think that, also, by the way, I think it would have been a lot cooler if Clara met a younger doctor. Because if he didn't know that Danny Pink was dead, well, no, here's what I mean. Imagine if, because here's the thing, right? In my opinion, in the 2-parter, the doctor knew what she was going to do in a way, because he knew that now granted, we speculated, he knew it because why would she ask to go see a thing that, could destroy the TARDIS keys, and he knows that she knows that, right? But imagine if he knew from the beginning that Pink was dead because he met a version of her later in the timeline that he was dead in. No, but think about it, right? Isn't it kind of weird that, especially with Moffat as the head writer at this point, that we don't have more meetings like Doctor meets companion out of order?
Yeah, I guess.
We had a little bit of that.
It's funny. I even saw. This is an idea that the actor himself, Pete Capaldi, kind of brought up. Is that the Doctor himself, he doesn't really believe you should give human standards to the Doctor, and that the idea that time is always flowing through his mind is a constant continuum, and that he does know what's going to happen in a sense. And it was kind of odd because if you think of it that way, it's like there's a lot of shit that the Doctor pulls. It's like, well, wait, you know how this is supposed to go, so why are you doing it this way? But it's kind of I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's more of the Doctor is like, yes, I can see all of time and space. I have it in my mind, but that doesn't mean I can focus on every minute, every second of it, every outcome of it all at once. I can focus on it if I really want to at a specific point, but that doesn't mean I remember everything that happens. He kind of just tries to do the best he can in the moment. And then he'll realize, wait, maybe I got that a little wrong. Let me try that again.
Okay, I see what you're trying to say. Because of course the Doctor has traveled to so many places through his thousands of years. Like, of
Right.
course, in a way, he could have seen every bit of time and space. But again, also remember that things change all the time in time and space. Funnily enough,
True.
like yes, there are some constants, but he could technically go to the same planet 5 times, and because of events that he has done, overridden that planet's timeline 5 times over, which would be a very interesting concept if they tried it. Like, oh my God, we've been to the same planet 3 times this series. Well, why is that a problem?
I mean,
it's been different every time, and he kind of
just
really
look at
thinks
9
about
with
the
Satellite
fact that
5.
Right, yes. It's been a while,
Wait,
but I'm picking
right.
up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Yes. So it would be very interesting if they tried to do that like a few different times and be like, oh my God, like obviously the Doctor thinks that he changes things, but to actually like see like, dear God, like I really fucking changed things. Anyway, yeah, and people might be asking, then what did you like about it? I like the monsters. I don't think they were as. I do think that the monsters were a little bit lackluster in some ways, where it felt like because it was and I'm being serious here, a one-hit kill situation. There wasn't because like some monsters, I feel like obviously yes, they might kill you in one blow because that's what makes them deadly. But there's like ways you could either evade them, or there's things the Doctor can do to try and fight against them.
Or just
but
the
in this
alien
case,
reference.
it's very much like. Yes, no, that's what I loved. I loved the alien reference. I loved a bunch of. Oh, of course the actors, the characters. I loved them so much. I loved Shona.
Face hugger.
I loved.
Did you really just say face hugger?
Yeah, because and the other guy was like, yeah, like in the movie Alien. You have a
Alien.
movie Alien? That's so offensive.
This is
no
why
wonder
you people get invaded all the time.
Yeah.
You think we're all the same.
You wonder why they keep invading you.
Wow, Doctor, way to get real. I mean, jeez.
Yeah. Also, I loved when he walked in and said, "Are you the same people from before?" And in my head, I was like, "Oh, is he thinking like some kind of time travel?" Like I thought it was going to be a really cool explanation. And they're like, "Yeah, why? I've already deleted you." I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh, God. Yeah.
Just, I've already deleted you as a phrase is the funniest thing, because it's like, yeah, he's seen so many people throughout the universe that, yeah, after a while you have to be like, do I want to choose to keep this memory?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe the memory itself, but the people, delete.
I feel like it's even, like, just the scene with the Doctor and Clara, like, when, the possessed rest of the crew is coming after them, it's like, oh, it's a telepathic link. If you're thinking about them, they can home in on you. It's like you have to think of something else. And just the fact that he goes into the fact it's like, oh, think of Danny, like flirting with another woman and, all that shit.
Ooh.
And just the fact Clara is like, don't you fucking dare. And he's like, and she smacks him, obviously it's like, don't you dare talk about my dead boyfriend, you son of a bitch. And he's like, what? I was trying to save your life. You do realize that, right? I'm not trying to wait. Why are you so mad about that? You obviously know he would never do that to you. So why did that work so well? It's like he's dead.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. No, I sent him the ring. Like I did it so he would come back to you. Yeah, well, he didn't. Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. No, of course I didn't tell you that. I told you that so you could go back to Gallifrey. Oh.
Yeah, I know it.
Well,
and then he,
that's awkward
says that he
about
didn't go to Gallifrey.
I did not go to Gallifrey. It's not there. I tried.
Yeah.
It was actually rather heart-wrenching. Hearts-wrenching,
yeah, right.
You could say. Oh.
2 hearts.
So both our lives suck. Yeah, let's focus on the face huggers again. Okay, good.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it felt very much like it was detached in a way. Like it was too much.
No, I mean, at first I guess it felt like too much, but like looking back on it, like I do enjoy that scene because it's basically them both realizing that they lied to each other for the other's well-being, and that it didn't do them any good because it both made them worse because then they didn't have their best friend to go to. Like, yeah, so my fiance is dead, and I have no one to talk to about that. not really. It's like, yeah, my home
Yeah.
planet is still gone, and I have no one to talk about that with.
You know what it is? I'm not okay. So I won't say that. Like, I'll say that it's a good lesson for kids. And yes, the show is also made for the kids watching as well. It's a good lesson for the kids to for it to be like, hey, don't hold that inside. You shouldn't have secrets from your friends and then just leave them like that. And like, I get it.
I mean, to be fair, I would even say, even not just kids. I would say that's a lesson for anybody, because there are.
No, but whenever I say it's a lesson for kids. You assume that the adults should know it already. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, I'd still argue the fact that not everybody learns that lesson right away, or even I don't know, falls into the point where they're forced to learn that lesson. But I feel like even if the adults do know it, it's still a good reminder, because there'll always be, there will always be a time where there are important people in your life, and maybe sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes things happen, and you just forget to be like, no, you know what, life is kind of too short. Like, yes, terrible things can happen, and like the amount of shit that happened between them, it's like, yes, that's a big deal. Like, it's not something you just kind of like throw out the window and be like, no, we're fine. It's like, no, you do need either some kind of lesson or a little bit of time to go by to be able to process that and realize, like, yes, we may have done bad things to each other, but if it really does mean that much to you, then in a way you can't let the bad dominate over the good that's possibly still there. And sometimes, that's true. There is still good to be had there, and I feel like that's the whole idea between their friendship. It's like, you two still are good friends, even though you might not have gone off to the best start, Yeah,
I just would have preferred to just, what I think it is? I think it's just, and it's probably just my bias. I just didn't want Clara as a companion again. And I know you said you liked how they transitioned and, made her more part of the doctor's life in a way that wasn't just, oh, I pretty much know everything. I am the doctor. It's like, no, it's like you've actually made her into a full character with her own problems and everything like that. And I'm not saying I don't like her character. Yeah. I just feel like after a while, like, because of how long that transition took and everything, I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just want her to be. Also, I know that they made a show.
I agree.
Yeah.
That transition
also, they made a
was
show.
Awkward. Her first series with the 12th Doctor is incredibly awkward and very jarring, but it gets better after, like after this Christmas special and the next series that comes up where they travel together. It does feel better. Granted, I do agree with you in the sense there is kind of still that bad taste in your mouth about all the shit that's gone on already, but it was definitely, in comparison, better.
And also, I would like to clarify that at that point, I would like to clarify that I would like to just, I apologize. That's on me, I get it. But no, I'd like to say that you're right. Ooh. You're not wrong, you're right. But I'd like to say that another thing, too, is that I don't know, look, like, I understand that back in the day you could have a companion on for a full season and that would be like, like 30 episodes or something crazy because, of course, the episodes, they would be their own stories in themselves. Like, the episodes would be part of serials, and then the serial would be, like, technically that serial can go on for God knows how many episodes and be like 2.5 hours long, right? That made sense for that. So having a companion be around for, like, a full season, that's a lot of episodes, especially they're only airing maybe like 1, maybe 2 a week for, and each episode's 20 minutes long. That made sense to me, right? Keep a companion on for a while, maybe even through to another doctor. That's a while. But here we only get 1 per year, sometimes not even that. I really want there to just be a season where we only get one, a companion for one doctor, like one series or one series, quote unquote, and then we move on. Maybe 2, and then we move on. But it's just 2 because I mean it's funny. Technically, we got We got Amy and Rory for series 5, 6, and then not all of 7, just half of it, right? So we got them for 2.5, right? That's what it was?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
I'll take your word for it.
Because then we got Clara for the second half of Series 7.
Right.
And then 8. And then 9. So, yes, someone might say, but it's 2.5 for both. But, again, I'm still not into it. Like, I would have preferred, also because of other things that were prolonged. We ended up getting her for the 50th as well. And we ended up getting, her. So, I don't know. It felt like her character was kept around in a way. Her character, not the actress, because I don't, bear any ill will towards the actress. She's great at what she does.
Yeah.
She's a fun Clara. Like, she plays the character well, and I like, her playing Clara.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that I feel like Clara was around. Yes, I just feel like Clara was around due to, like, I don't want to say it was convenience, or I want to say it was, I don't want to be a dick and be like, she's only there because it's just convenient, or it's just, she got lucky, and they didn't want the Doctor to be companionless. So instead of introducing a brand new companion, they kept Clara around. And then for some reason they're like, well, it seems like people like Clara. And again, we only get the American aspect. We don't know how people in the UK feel about Clara. Right? But you and I, right, being Americans in New York, we get this general vibe of people not liking Clara. Especially on the internet too, which you can't trust that either, because you can have a very vocal minority on the internet. But that's the thing. It just felt like after a while, it's just like, okay, Moffat, you can kind of let her go, and it's like, no, but we need to keep Clara, and it's like, no, we don't.
Personally, made me sad because I really did enjoy her character, but again, like I've mentioned it before, they wrote her into such a plot hole in 11's story that it was like. It just didn't make sense why she was staying on for 12. I was happy, but also disappointed in a way. So it was
just
weird.
To clarify, you said plot hole, not as there were plot holes. Like they dug her into a hole of plot that she had to crawl out of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. No. And granted, I'm not saying because the thing too is that I'm not saying that she couldn't be a part-time companion, that they couldn't come back to her. If you wanted to make her like a Rose, where minus of course the love, that they tried to push there, just try to make her, because I wasn't a big fan of that. If there's one thing about Davies that I didn't like that they were trying to push something between Rose and the Doctor, but you could still have her come back every once in a while. Martha came back every once in a while to say hi.
Sarah Jane.
Sarah. Oh well,
granted,
Sarah Jane's
it was a while,
obvious.
but
I don't think we really need to mention. It was a very long time. But that's the thing too. But and that's another fucking thing too. By the way, I want there to be companions that we can come back to. I am not a fan of, and I'm not going to put this on Moffat because we also have Davies as well. Even though it was sad, I don't know. I feel like when Davies made Donna in a way where I feel like it was an exception to the rule. Even though he doesn't come back to his companions, he could. I feel like Donna was one of those exceptions. Now, of course, you had Rose too, but Rose, technically, he could go back. He would just break all of time and space, whatever. But with Donna, it was like, no, she will die. That's even worse than breaking time and space in a way. Because, think about it. Time and space is broken relatively often at this point, honestly. It gets fixed, but, it's just a nice little Band-Aid put on it. But when it comes to Donna, it was just like, no, she will die if she remembers who I am. So please do not let her look at television. Don't let her watch any television, doctors. Just do not let her watch anyone that's called the Doctor. Just don't let it happen. Will, counting on you. But anyway, but in all seriousness, right? Yes, Davies did that too. But I don't know, I feel like there's just really bad trend, and, I'm not spoiling for the future. I'm just talking about with Amy and Rory, of just this concept of, they could have, because the thing too is that with Donna, it was only one season. So it happened. I couldn't say with Donna, oh, well, the Doctor had just not taken her along. Because I feel like that's a dick move. You could say that about anybody, right? Anyone. Well, the Doctor didn't take him along. It's no, come on, stop it. But, when it comes to Amy and Rory, it's if the Doctor hadn't taken them along, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth time, or they wouldn't have had to live their lives in the past, which some people might say,
Right.
but they're still together, but they don't have Wi-Fi, and is that really a life you want to live? So,
God damn it.
no, but in all seriousness, though, they still got time displaced. Like, that's not a life you want to live.
Yeah.
Like, no one looked at the Weeping Angels and they were like, hey, they're making people's lives better in the past, okay? Like, no one says that.
Please transport me to a different time. It's like, no,
I'd
you
love it.
have to adjust to that shit.
Yeah. Also, depending on what year you get sent to, you don't exist. And it's hard to
Yeah.
some years it probably isn't that hard to say that you exist. You know what I mean? Like, just walk up to people, hi, my name's John. All right. I mean, you know, like, what kind of paperwork do we fucking have? But other
Right.
times, like, yeah, if you were sent back to, like, the 1980s, you'd be fucked. Like, think about that. First off, if you had any money in your wallet, it wouldn't work. It'd be completely different. Even though it's the 80s, it'd still be different, right? 2, you just wouldn't exist. So there's all these people that are like, oh, yes, no, here's my identity, I have paperwork. You wouldn't have any money and you wouldn't exist.
Right.
That would be terrible. So, like, yeah, it's just, you know, so, like, in my head, I'm just like, yeah, I don't like what they did with Amy and Rory at the end there. And I feel like they're trying to go down this path with Clara, too. And it's just pissing me off because it's just like, look, like, why can't you just, like, why couldn't they just let her go and then eventually come back to her? Look, they have a school coming up. They have a school coming up. They have a show that was coming up at the time that was actually a school-based Doctor Who show. Like, oh, what happens when the Doctor isn't on Earth? And it's actually a school. I forgot what the series is called, but I might want to do it on the podcast as well. What?
Class?
Yes, Class. Thank you. Yes,
started,
Class.
yes.
Thank you. Well, no, in the U.S. it did. It's already aired in the U.K.
Right.
It's finished in the UK. It started airing on BBC America.
Oh, okay.
But it's done.
Got it.
Yeah, it actually aired during season 9, or series 9. But my point is this. They had that going, and Clara's off doing adventures. Like, I don't know if maybe they did have her there a little bit because I haven't seen the show, but how much fucking sense does that make? Let's make a show about a school where in the school they're all fighting the monsters. All right, are we going to get the teacher there? No. No. We can't, no.
I mean, it's kind of funny. To me, it basically feels like a new take on Torchwood, just without Jack. And it's like,
well, a new take
guys?
on Sarah Jane Adventures.
Okay, that too.
Well, no, because that
But
one
it's
was
just like
more based around the school that Sarah Jane
a school
taught at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I don't know, man. It was still just like, it's still like, granted, I haven't seen the show. Any of you that have, maybe you know that, you know, Clara was in it. But it's just one of those situations where you're like, wait, so Clara could be in this, right? No. And you're like, what the fuck? This is the one moment where it makes sense to have Clara. Yeah. So, like, if they had left her behind, but then she was in the spinoff, like, and you know, that would be really cool in my opinion.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just want a future with Doctor Who where companions get switched off only in 1 to 2 series, not in these, you know, oh, well, let's do half. Because another thing, too, is, and they didn't do this with Clara, thankfully, you know, at the time with Amy and Rory, they were doing half series or half seasons. So they would do like 7 episodes and then take a 6-month break. So it made you feel like that in itself was a season, and it wasn't, but it felt that way. So it felt like Amy and Rory were on for even longer because they would take these breaks, and some of them it didn't make sense for them not to come back. Like, they had to come back. But other ones you're like, so they're not coming back. Oh, they are. Or the Doctor see them for Christmas. Oh, that's so sweet. So, you know, that's the last time we'll see them. No, they're coming back.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, I don't know. I also don't like that, in a way, the Christmas special continued a plot. Even though it's nice that it did, and I get it, it's kind of nice to have Christmas specials be more standalone. Yes, companions can come along, of course, but it's nice when Christmas specials, I think, are just about Christmas or about being around Christmas time and not just, oh, yes, let's continue this plot you thought we resolved at the end, at the finale of last season. Like, that was a series finale, not the Christmas special. Nor is the Christmas special a way to start up the season.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it.
I mean, it's funny. It almost
yes.
felt like this Christmas special was basically like, it kind of feels like, oh, you didn't really think we'd leave you with, it's like, yeah, you know, a hug is basically a way to hide your face. I'm going back to Gallifrey. Oh, and I'm going back to my fiance. You two realize you're both lying out your asses right now, right? You're both miserable. Oh, God, this is how we're ending this. And I feel like the Christmas special was kind of like, just kidding, because that would make you guys real sad, wouldn't it?
But that's a huge issue.
And in
because,
a way,
granted,
it is kind of a giant middle finger to the audience. Yeah. It does feel like that in a way.
It's Christmas. Yeah, no, here's the thing. It's Christmas, so that's a lovely, nice thing. Because it is Christmas. Obviously, it's Christmas. We have to have a nice feel to it. Like, if they did that at a Christmas special,
I am kind of glad that they
I'd be
made up, though, yeah.
Well, no, in no way am I saying they shouldn't have made up. It's just making up and then turning it into, so you have to come back along with me is not, like, it didn't sit well with me. But I just want to clarify. I just want to say this, explain this. I'm not saying the Christmas special should have had them doing the same thing. Where, like, I don't think they should have delayed the hug until Christmas. That would have been the saddest thing. And it's like, no, fuck that. But at the same time, you know, it is quite strange, I think, personally, that, like they, continue it into the Christmas special, and then I can understand, yes, I wouldn't say it was a middle finger, but yeah, definitely to be like, just kidding, like, don't think we actually do that because they make you sad. It's like, yes, but that's why it was different. That's why people liked it, because it was different. So people were like, the reason why I got all this, granted, I'm not a big fan of someone saying, this gets rave reviews because it's sad. It's like, okay, give me more. But I do think, though, that, this was a moment in the show's history where, like, it got, praise because, yes, it was sad, but being sad was different from what we normally get. And it was kind of a change-up, and it's like, wow, that's real. And granted, it's not like the Doctor could never come back. That's the thing. Like, it's not like even if Jenna, the actress, Jenna Louise Coleman, isn't under contract, it's not like they can't be like, listen, we got to get you back for this one episode. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think that it should be like a open and shut case. Like, oh, no. We can never get this person back. Like, no, I feel like everyone can come back. Everyone has a price. Even if someone hasn't acted in like 20, 30 years. No, being serious. Like, even if someone hasn't acted in 20, 30 years. Yeah, if you want them back, you can get them back. I feel like, I don't say many, but I feel like people that are in Doctor Who, this isn't true of every show that's, for a family, intended audience or for kids. Not true of every show. But I feel like when you're part of some of these shows, you understand the ability or the need to come back, right? Like, you're not sitting there going, well, I've done this show for 3 years. I will never, ever return. Like, yeah, if you're the Doctor, you might be having that thought. Like, yeah, you're never going to need me again because even if it's going to try to be for some Doctor cameo, if it's too long from now, then, like, I'm going to look noticeably older.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to have to either explain that through some timey-wimey nonsense or, it's not going to work. So, right. Or you're going to need, like, a new character to portray the Doctor, or a new actor, rather, which is always weird. I know they did it with Hartnell at one point, and that was a little strange. But yeah, I think he had passed on though, so there was really like, if you're going to do a 5-Doctor special, yeah, you're going to have to recast him. But it was still a little awkward because that wasn't the Doctor, Anyway, my point is that, yeah, I just feel like you could bring her back at any moment. Why, or have the Doctor maybe even see her in class. Now, it would be a cop-out to have, not a cop-out, but it would be pretty shitty to have them resolve things in a new show. Like, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
Like, you want people to watch the show and connect things. Yeah, that'd be really fucking weird and stupid. But I still think, though, that, like, yes, the characters can appear elsewhere or, like, in the show's history. I know some might say, but why would you, like, it'd be bad storytelling to not tell it immediately. And then I would say, So then it's fine for them to tell it immediately. It's just the fact that it led to her coming back. I think that there's nothing wrong with bringing a companion back later, right? There's no reason why you have to keep that companion around until people either get sick of her or until you're saying, no, now the full story's over. Like, her full story was over when she was with Eleven. But, again, the thought was, I'm sure, it's better to show how this doctor differs by having him keep a companion around that was with him previous. So you think, okay, fine. Maybe the same thing will happen with the newest companion. I haven't seen the newest series, but maybe she'll stay on after Capaldi leaves. Maybe, right? So like that is a good thought. But then that should be it, right? Like in the same way that Rose stood with Tennant, right? And then it's like, cool. So have a nice day, Rose. Like, it wasn't like, okay, so series 2 is over, but let's just keep Rose around again. It was like, no, they wrote her out of the show. A bit too definite for my taste. So again, I do want to, I don't want to make it seem like Moffat's the Antichrist when I'm sitting here like, wasn't Davies great? Like, no, there were problems with, Davies too, but again, it was more like, I'm okay with some being definite. I just don't want the feeling that every single one will be definite, and then the Doctor's not going to have any companions around, because Moffat frames the Doctor in a way where, like, he leaves bodies in his wake, and he does. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I don't want to feel like every companion is another body count in the death toll for the Doctor.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, like it's funny. If you're going to sit there and be like, no, but it's nice that they all make up and stuff and they're all happy at the end. It's like, yeah, until they die. So let's try to not have that be a, what's it called? Have that be a trend. And yeah, of course you assume that Clara wasn't going to die in any of these episodes that she had the potential of dying in. But even if she did, at this point, it at least would have been final. And we wouldn't have had her come on for another series. No, I don't mean to be a dick about it, but it would have been like, oh my God, that's so sad. But you know what? At least they made up, right?
Right.
Like, that's the thought, right? Like, you coughed, and I didn't know if you were going to hide something in your cough or if you were just coughing. I don't know anymore, Tristan. I don't know what you're going to do. You coughed on the phone. I was like, is he gonna say something funny in the middle? I don't know.
The audience
but
knows too. Or do they?
Well, that's not. That was the most terrifying. I've never heard you sound more terrifying. Jesus H. Christ. Okay. So one thing I want to mention, I loved Nick Frost as Santa Claus. I don't know if you know.
Oh, that was beautiful.
But
yeah.
You know who Nick Frost is, right?
I know the name. I always keep
Shaun of
I'm
the
like,
Dead.
where the fuck? Right. Okay.
You've seen Shaun of the Dead, right?
I've seen enough of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, now our friendship status is both in question and...
Okay.
Like, if you could have just hugged me and said, I've seen Shaun of the Dead, and I would have believed you.
Right.
But, because I wouldn't be able to see your face.
But, yeah, damn it, you beat me to it.
But anyway, but seriously though, right? With Nick Frost as Santa, he was the heavier gentleman, right? The heavier friend in Shaun of the Dead, so he wasn't Simon Pegg. And if you've seen clips of it, you'll know that he's fucking hilarious. So getting him to be Santa, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a very interesting Christmas special.
Right.
So I was a fan of that, I'll admit.
Oh yeah.
Also I said I like
performance of Santa.
Yes. I also said I like the actors because it's very hard to play characters that, in my opinion, don't know that they are trying to save themselves or they are currently quarantined. Like, it's so interesting that, like, even though I didn't like the Dream Within a Dream aspect, it is still extremely interesting to, like, think about the fact, right? To really sit back and think about the fact that they were in a space station where they themselves were quarantined because they were but they were still dreaming. So they saw themselves like, oh man, those are just crew members, I guess. But it was actually them. Like, that was a very interesting concept. There were a lot of interesting concepts in this episode that I enjoyed. like making Clara older, I was like, oh man, right? And the makeup, by the way, the makeup was really good.
Mm.
Like, I don't know how she'll actually look in 40 years from now. So, like, I'm sure in 40 years from now we'll, like, do the comparison, which is funny because that always happens. No, but that always happens in shows when they put someone in, like you've seen, like, in the 80s, right? Oh, put them in older makeup. And then you actually see them 30 years from then, and you're like, that's nowhere close to how they'd look. But it's interesting. Like, so when they put her in that makeup, I was like, wow, that, you know, that was really cool that they did that. Only problem is, and it's not her fault, your voice changes as you get older.
Yeah.
And they didn't have her do anything for that, so her voice sounded exactly the same. Someone might say that was the clue. I'll say I don't think so.
Right.
But that was interesting. I love that the doctor never saw her as any different as when he originally saw her. It kind of shows like it tries to, I don't know, it says something like, oh, like, I love you, but it's not an I love you that seems that is, you know, is based around like a relationship. Like, it just seems like a very like a harmless, kind of a beautiful, very you know, no strings attached way of saying like I love you. Like, oh no, you look the same way. Like, I remember, like the same way as I remember you. But what was really sad, and I honestly like, look, it's playing in the background right now, so it's making me tear up. Even though the doctor says he doesn't see her any differently, he helps her pull at the thing that they were pulling at, like the Christmas. I don't know what they called it. I forgot.
I thought it was a Christmas cracker, but yeah, something like that.
Okay, Christmas cracker. I just feel really awkward calling it. Yeah, no, when they were pulling at the cracker, just I feel like out of context, I just feel really weird. I was just like I'm not sure, but. No, you're right. That's what they called it, but I didn't. No, you're right. That's what they even called it that on screen. I just didn't want to say that out loud. I felt really awkward. But yeah, no, you know, it was a situation where it's kind of really sad in a way where he says, "Oh, I don't see you any differently," and I know and I don't say I don't believe him because they showed it through his perspective, but in a way he knows, like, yeah, she's older. Let me help her, and I was like, oh. Like, that was kind of, like, but again, if that was their life, I'd be like, you know what, it's okay, though, because the point is that, I don't know, like, I get it. The point is that, like, every Christmas could be your last, but I also don't think that's a reason why, because I don't know, I feel like this is a show that literally Moffat himself has tried to say, man, the doctor puts people in mortal danger all the time. But it's glorifying that with, like, it's the last Christmas we could be together. It is. Yes, then let's just shoot up heroin. It's like, what? Well, I mean, essentially, like, no, just the idea is just like, well, it's the last Christmas you might ever have, so just fucking go nuts, go crazy, jump off a building, you'll never know. Like, when the doctor is constantly putting people in danger, and you might be like, Matt, come on. It's like, no, but Moffat, or the story, at least Doctor Who overall. But, I mean, it's been going on for so long, that's why I can't say Doctor Who overall. But, like, literally, they've tried to show you, like, Doctor constantly puts people in danger. It's not what it's all, you know, what it's cracked up to be. And here, I know it's a Christmas special, but, like, they really try to, like, glorify, like, it's all it's cracked up to be. You could die. But I could die at any moment, so fuck it. It's kind of like, crossing the street isn't like dealing with aliens.
I almost feel like that's just the essence of traveling with the doctor in the first place. It's like, yeah, you really could die at any moment, but it is beautiful for what it is.
I made myself cry, Tristan. Please tell me everything's going to be okay.
No.
Okay, because I just thought... Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what I just thought. I said, crossing the street isn't like fighting aliens. And then I thought, literally I heard, tell that to Danny Pink. And I just cried inside.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but seriously, like, it's just, you know, being, like, all jokes aside, though, like, you know, crossing the street is not like fighting aliens. One has a higher death rate. I mean, yes, it might look like it doesn't because you... Well, I mean, you would think. Well, because the thing is, it's hard to tell because you always see people succeeding and not dying with the doctor. But I'm pretty sure, like, imagine, how many companions have you had? Oh, thousands. Really? Yeah. Why don't we see any of them? Oh, my God, the amount of dead people. Just, you have to understand, when I was the first doctor, Oh my God! I just took every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and oh Jesus! Like, what happened to them? You do not want to know. You would leave right now. We're in an active volcano. You would jump into the volcano thinking of what happened to them. Oh my goodness.
Oh jeez.
but anyway, let me not do this. But you know what? I brought up Danny Pink. That was by accident. I still am sad that I did that, but I did bring up Pink. Let's talk about him briefly. Do you think it was okay? So it was sweet that he was in the dream. That's something we can't argue. And it was beautiful that she brought him into the dream and everything. We couldn't argue that. But do you think it was overkill that they brought the actor back again after he's already dead and they already had that moment? I know it wasn't really him, but the actor is portraying him. So do you think it was overkill that they brought him? Because obviously, look, you bring the Doctor and Clara back, they have unresolved business. There was no unresolved business between Pink and her. So how do you feel?
I mean, I feel like it was kind of the sense of the Doctor and Clara, like, making up in this Christmas special. This was supposed to be Clara's kind of, like, actually getting to say goodbye to Danny face-to-face instead of it being through a freaky portal thing that could only be open for, like, a few seconds to bring back the kid.
Okay, fair enough. Because to me it felt like she said goodbye
weird.
as a Cyberman. So, like, that's the thing. Like, to me it was like, because you know what it is? For me, it was like, it felt like she got to say goodbye as a Cyberman, and the portal thing was like, okay, Clara, so you thought that I was coming through. You thought it was I, but actually, it was a Middle Eastern child. So, like, I didn't, but, like, really, though, it's, you thought it was I, but it was really. It's like the reverse Dio Brando. But it's, you know, like, so I get it, you're right. Like, oh, no, it was actually through a portal, so it wasn't a real goodbye. But in my opinion, the goodbye was the Cyberman thing. Like, that was, like, the big moment. Like, she didn't think he'd be able to come back at all. So, like, it's kind of weird that, like, she said it here because it was still a dream. It's like saying goodbye to yourself, really. I don't know. Like, I know, like, the idea is death.
Yeah, maybe you could even think of it as her finally, maybe it still haunted her this whole time, and now she's seeing it in the dream, like, confronting herself in a way, like, maybe this is the final straw, what she needed to actually put it behind her.
Of course.
Or it's just
and
the idea of that's
yeah.
what dreams do to you. They make you, you know, look back at your life, and it's your brain kind of running through your own events in life. So
yes, and you know, I definitely want to say that obviously, you know, like, I've lost people, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh yeah, it's just so easy, you know, you don't dream about them, like, that's stupid. Like, in no way am I going to say that. It's just, you know, the problem too is that, again, and this is something that I want to tie into with what I said earlier, we don't see the moments when she's not doing it or the moments when she is. So all we see is, we saw Danny Pink die, which was sad, but that was that was their moment of, like, her being like, I didn't get to say goodbye to you on the phone, I'm saying goodbye to you here. And then we got the portal scene, so it felt like that was wrapped up, and we might get her mourning, but that was wrapped up. Then the next thing we see is him again portraying the actor. So that's, like, a problem with the show that I don't know, I can't really blame it on Moffat. I can't do that. That's wrong. Right, because, again, he doesn't have the say. He has the say to say what is in the Christmas special, but he doesn't have the say to sit there and go, yeah, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next Christmas. Like, you never know. And I don't mean this to be to make a joke about the name of the special. I'm being serious. You don't know if this will be the last Christmas special, or you don't know if next year there might be some delay, and then it's like, well, are we still working with, you know, Clara's actress, or, like, how is this working? So, like, I get it. Or with Pink's actor even. You know, will he be around next year? So I get it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I feel weird about them bringing him back again. I get why they did it, so I'm not going to say that it's wrong. It's just weird. Because in some ways, you know what it is? In some ways it feels like they wanted to go with, okay, this is real. And then in other ways they wanted to go with, but this is glorified television. Because sadly, even though we should right, be talking about everything, and our feelings. We shouldn't just hold something inside to make the other person feel happy. Sometimes that happens in life, and it should be addressed later, but sometimes it doesn't get addressed immediately. And again, you might say, well, Matt, it took them, maybe 6 months or a year for him to finally come back to Clara. Yeah, but for us, it was only a few months, so it wasn't long for us, and that's, again, a bit of an issue. So,
right.
For me, if when I look at, what's it called? When I look at what happened, with like everything kind of just running together so close, it just, I don't know, it just feels like it's too much, too fast. Or no, what I was saying, although specifically I was saying like how, it's, let's not have them not discuss things. Let's have them discuss everything and leave it all on the table. And it's like, okay, so that to me seems a bit unrealistic compared to what they had just shown. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, Clara's going to really deal with death. And I'm like, okay, that's realistic. So, like, I don't know, I feel like they just kind of pick and choose when they want to, oh, let's depict reality. And then another way, be like, no, actually, never mind. Let's make this TV special. TV fun, TV nice.
Right.
So it's, yeah. And, of course, by the way, I really want to laugh because you and I are sitting here acting as if we're talking about, like, what's real and what's not, and we've just accepted the TARDIS as fact. We've accepted the TARDIS, we've accepted the Doctor, Santa Claus. Everything is fact other than the fact that seeing these characters deal with their problems.
Obviously, that's all real, Matt. Like, what are you talking about? I don't get it.
You're right. We don't talk about the air or sky. You're right. Anyway, so why did I make it seem like we were gonna? You're right. I'm an idiot. But yeah, So did you like this special, right? Is there anything you didn't like about the special? Because I know, like, you've kind of been agreeing with me, but, like, I still want to hear, what did you not like about it? Because I'm ranting. That's what I do for a living. What did you not like about it?
I mean, I think I've pretty
or
much given
when you
my...
first watched it. Like, is there, because I've seen this twice. Is there anything that you changed your mind on?
I mean, I feel like I'm a little less critical of it now.
Same, yeah.
But
because I definitely.
Aside from that, I feel like I gave most of my opinion on it. So.
Okay, fair enough. Because I want to say, for some people out there that might be like, Matt, you're being less critical right now. Yes, because it's more clear and concise, and I can still say, but man, I really loved, Shona's character. I love when she woke up and her house looked exactly like her house should look like. Like, I kind of sat there. Like, other people, I was like, oh, that's a surprise. Like, even though, like, there was that one woman that was like, I work in perfume. I don't know if I would have expected her house to look like that because I don't know. In my head, I'm like, how do you expect someone's house when they work in, like, as a manager to look? I did not expect the other woman to be in a wheelchair. Right? Like, that was a shocker. But then you see Shona, and I'm like, yeah, I expected her house to look just like that, or her apartment, to look just like that. And then to have that list that just says, oh, here are the movies to rent. And then the fact that Alien was one of them, I laughed really hard because I don't know if you've seen Alien, but the space station was basically Alien. Like, it was I haven't seen all of Alien, but the bits that I've seen was really inspired by, like, Alien. The only thing that confused me was the monsters, the way they looked. I was hoping they looked a little bit different or something because, like, when they looked the same, Thing from Another World and some of the other stuff that were on her list didn't exactly make sense. I guess I was trying to go with that with her character, but it would be very interesting. It was very interesting that, like, in a way, she shaped, like, the space station. Or at least she had seen Alien, and so had the other guy.
Right.
No, because that's the point. It wasn't just like, oh, we're dreaming, and the aliens put us here. Or if they did, they put us somewhere that we know about. That's comfortable, or at least something that we know in our memories. So people on the there had clearly seen Alien, some of them anyway, so that they were able to. That's the environment they made up. Yeah. but because that's why they were referencing it, like that's what they know. 'Cause, compared to like the manuals, which they didn't know anything about the manuals, so like, or at least their interpretation of it wasn't all the same. So that's why that was a very interesting concept, by the way. Because I never thought about that at all. Like, if let's all read something different in the dream because it comes from our own interpretation of it. I think that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that was something
I thought it was good that way too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that as well. So now I know you mentioned, but I like that or I like that, but like, is there something that really like you sat back and you were like, oh, this was amazing, this was brilliant, like anything that really like stuck out to you?
I mean, I had already said it before, but I feel like the whole tangerine thing on the windowsill, like, out of everything that had already happened, it's still, even it being a Christmas special, is like, do you believe in Santa? I'm like, of all the shit that you pulled in this episode, you still had time to be like, is Santa real or is he? I'm like, God damn it.
On the next episode really of Fact or Fiction. Yeah.
So, and like
I'll
I
get
said,
that
like
to you as well.
It's been kind of a rocky road between Clara and the Doctor ever since he regenerated for this series. So, like, the next one that comes in, I feel like their relationship is a lot better defined, and Clara has kind of become almost another character in a sense. Like, maybe not completely different, but different enough that, like, we can have adventures again with this new Doctor, and their relationship doesn't feel so fucking awkward anymore.
Yeah,
I'm sad it took that long
really
to get
sad.
here, but yeah.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing too. Because like, when someone says, "Oh, it took long to get here," right? Like, obviously, like, I'm not being a dick to you and saying that, because you're right. It did take a long time. But like, you really have to sit back and think, like, it took a full year, it took a full series, that we have to have this transition when it's just like, just introduce someone new. Like, I don't know if they're only able to get people now and entice them by getting them into like 2.5 year contracts. Maybe that's the problem. But
I don't think that's it.
Okay.
I don't want to say that's it, but I mean, it's possible. I would rather say, not to shit on the writers, but I feel like it's kind of the writers.
Well, no, but it's not. You're not shitting on them, because look, Moffat has a story he wants to tell. The writers have a story they want to tell. I'm not against. It's funny. I'm not trying to sit there and say that if they're sitting there like, no, but we want to tell a 2.5-year story. To us, that's how we're writing this. It would be terrible if we had to let them go sooner. And to that, I'll say, I get it. I just think that it's better to write smaller stories. Because the thing, too, for me is, I don't want to look at it like it's a soap opera of like a will they, won't they. Even though, like, obviously the Doctor and Clara, or the Doctor and their companions, won't ever full-on date. Hopefully. But still, like, it's still a thing where I don't like this will they, won't they stuff. I know that Davies used to write for soap operas, right? I know that Jenna Louise Coleman used to be in a soap opera. I get it, right? But, it's not like these actors haven't dabbled in that, right? I just feel like it's a bit too much, and it's become a bit too much, so I just want to go back to a year equals one companion. Or if 2 years equals one companion, that's fine too. Or if you guys are end up splitting up again via half seasons, then definitely a full year equals one companion, or at least a year and a half. Then we're good. Just please. I don't know. I want to get back to that more traditional sense, and I'm sure I sound like a broken record to the fans, and I apologize. It's just I want, and again, I'm sure, like I was trying to say before, the writers might go, no, but if we only get one season for one character, they're not fully developed, and they're not gonna, and then they'll never be back, and then people will complain. And I'll say, I don't think people complained about Martha because she was only there for one season, and that some people might forget her for that. They complained that it felt like she was a rebound after the Rose fiasco.
Yeah.
So that's what they complain about. Like, it's like, you're the most important thing ever to me, and now I can't see you again. Hello, I'm Martha. Whatever, just fucking get in here.
Yeah.
Like, that was a problem. And of course, right, who we blame that? Davies, right? So I thought Moffat had nothing to do with that. Fuck, during Martha, he wrote Blink.
Right.
So fucking bravo, right?
Yeah. Like,
But,
I always loved him for his Monster of the Week episodes. Like, he had amazing one-offs. Like, he wrote one of my favorite episodes, the Vashna Narada, so,
Yeah, and I have to say, I like the audacity, and I use audacity in a good way. I like how his finales always seem big. Like, even if you're going to be like, no, but I don't like this, this, and this, but I still like how his finales constantly seem like in some ways it can be a problem. They're trying to one-up each other, but I like that this last one didn't one-up it. Like, yes, it brought in the Master or Missy, which you'd be like, oh my God, it's one-upping, but it wasn't like, actually, I know that last time the entire universe was in danger, but did you know that there are other universes? Not Dragon Ball Super, not here. There are more than one universe. They're all in danger. Like, I'm happy they didn't go with that. They were just like, let's just focus on the Earth again. The Earth exists too, everybody. It's not just about what the Doctor is doing with every monster in the galaxy. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to wrap things up here. I think Tristan has said his piece. I think he's just like, Christmas is over. It's like, all right, Tristan. So I want to thank you all for listening in as always.
Christmas.
Oh my God, thank you for reminding me. Fuck that. I understand that that's a phrase, I'm sure, like, because it's not a phrase for us because we would say it's the last Christmas. We just wouldn't say last Christmas. So maybe that's a phrase that as Americans, or as New Yorkers, we don't know, right? But the problem is that what?
I kind of learned an importance to it, but yeah, maybe that's just me.
What do you mean?
That's just me then.
What is just you? I'm confused. I don't know what's just you. What do you mean?
It's not just like a British thing. The phrase, like, I feel like
you could say every Christmas
how you take it or apply it to your life.
No. I'm saying that every Christmas could be your last Christmas. That's obvious. But saying every Christmas is last Christmas, the way it was used, in that regard, you don't say that as an American. You don't say every Easter is last Easter. Wait, every Easter was last year's Easter? What? No. You say every Christmas could be your last Christmas. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the way it was applied was, I'm talking about just from a grammar perspective. It was different. And then also, because of the fact that it's yes, it's a common phrase, but, like, even if, like, I don't know, even if there was a war movie that's called Under Fire, I would feel really weird if, like, they kept on saying, oh, no, we're under fire. Oh, no, we're under fire. We're under fire.
But,
like,
Matt,
I just wasn't a big fan. What?
But, Matt, Doctor Who.
Yeah, don't think I'm a fan of that, everyone. Because here's the thing, too, right?
No, I just said that to
I can be a fan. I know you did. I just want to clarify for anyone that's new that might be listening in. And please understand, when it's done that way, Doctor Who, like, it could be in a funny way and we can chuckle at it, but they've been trying to get serious with it, and it has not been jiving with me. I'm not into it. And now taking Last Christmas, which, yes, it's a serious phrase, but it's the name of the special. So, like, you just can't, like, imagine if Doctor was like, there's a lion, witch, and a wardrobe in here? Like, okay. Okay. Like, I don't know, I can't think of any more off the top of my head. But, like, I don't know, it's just too much. Right? I feel like after a while it just becomes too much to just say the name of the episode in the episode, especially 3 times. Now, granted, yes, someone might go, but that's the point. The point is that it was about it being Last Christmas. I know. I can't give it a pass. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to give passes to saying the name of your movie or special in your movie or special or TV show, unless you're making it very funny and trying to play it up, right? Or you're naming it after the organization. You kind of have to, right? Like, if there was a show called Unit, I'm not going to sit there and be like, they should never call their own name, right? But, I don't know, man. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Yeah, Last Christmas. Great title for a special. Great message. Not a big fan of it being said multiple times. Anyway, so I want to thank you all for listening in through our Christmas rant. It's not Christmas now, and it's not even July, so we can't even say it's Christmas in July. But it was still a Christmas rant nonetheless, because it was about the Doctor Who the 2014 Christmas special. I said it was 2015 earlier. Sorry about that. 2014 Christmas special, last Christmas. Thank you all. Love you guys so much. Remember that we have our merchandise over at tgproduction.net/merchandise or over at our eBay, which is /ThoseGuysRadio. You can get some really fun T-shirts, not just for our podcast, but also for our Let's Plays. What Let's Plays? You guys do that too? Damn straight we do. Damn skippy we do. Go to our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play. You guys search that up and find a lot of our, Those Guys Play seasons 1, 2, and 3 episodes on there. You can also find Matt Beats Games from His Childhood, where I, being Matt, beat games from my childhood, currently beating Yoshi's Island 2, Crash Bandicoot 2, and also beating, well, actually I have Pokemon Red that I'm playing as well, and I even have Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which I'm also beating as well on our channel. So you can check that out. Many other games we play on our channel as well. You can check that out. Also, we have our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio, which you may be listening to this podcast through, because we have our archived shows on there, constantly updating it with our archived podcasts. Search up Those Guys on the Radio on YouTube. You could be listening to us through iTunes or searching up Those Guys. Or you could be listening to us through Blog Talk Radio by looking up blogtalkradio.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio. Also check out our Patreon, which depending on what tier you donate to, you can help us do a lot of different things, kind of help us be who we are. Right, kind of help us, fund our Blog Talk Radio account or other things that can help bring you, Let's Plays better or just more Let's Plays and, give you guys more of what you like. And depending on what tier you donate to, right, you can actually, because you get to also get things with tiers, everyone. So depending on what tier you donate to, you could actually have us do a specific podcast. What, Tristan? You laughing at the fact that I said you can do anything with tiers? Did you imagine crying?
Yes, because this special.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Who in general.
Yeah, it was a sad special. I'll be very real. So anyway, so with the tiers, you could actually stop it, Tristan. Mute your phone. Anyway, you could actually get us to do a specific podcast. So speaking of Doctor Who, you could say, it doesn't have to just be do this season, and we'll pay you money. It could be, top 5 doctors. I would say top 10, but there's 12. Top 5, or a little bit over 12. But your top 5 doctors, top 5 Doctor Who episodes, right? Top 5 Doctor Who arcs or serials, if you want to refer to them as that, because that's what the older ones were referred to as. Top 5 seasons or series, right? So there's a lot you can, you don't just have to say, hey, do a podcast on a specific thing. It could actually be more of a branched out idea as well. For our Let's Plays, you can actually mix and match. So you can say, I would like this host and this host to play this game. And those hosts may have never even met before. So it'll be a very interesting new experience that you guys can see depending on what tier you donate to, right? And also, right, depending on what tier you donate to, you can become a sponsor for the month. So for 1 month, we could actually give you a shout-out on the show and say, hey, being sponsored by so-and-so, both for the Let's Plays or the podcasts. Flip that around. Usually go with podcast first. But or the Let's Plays or the podcasts. So a lot of interesting fun things. And also, remember, our Patreon is TG Productions. So thank you all. Love you guys. Really happy you tuned in. Know that this is kind of late, but we're catching up, and, we'll be doing Series 9 shortly. So thank you all. Love you guys, and take care. Hope you have a good night. So say good night, Tristan.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Because this podcast is last podcast.
It's the last podcast.
Not the. It's last, Tristan. Get your grammar right. But, they're right, not our right, because everything is relative. Goodbye, everyone.